The Evergreen State College Longhouse Center in Olympia, Washington, hosted an international gathering of artists from 38 Indigenous nations. The event was modeled after the first such gathering in New Zealand in 1995, which sparked a need for continuing cultural exchanges. Dempsey Bob was the lead artist for wood carving. Frank Lapina led the painting sessions. Hazel Pete headed the weaving workshops. Joe Fedderson offered his gentle guidance to the printmakers, and Nora Naranjo Morse provided expertise in pottery. The lead artists worked with 71 Indigenous artists, from emerging artists to established professionals. The work of the lead artists, as well as selected works created here in all 5 disciplines, will travel throughout the globe. Artists were inspired to work till the early hours of the morning and held both informal and formal panel discussions.
What culture gives you is strength, and beauty gives you strength. And that's what we're doing. Our art lifts up our people. It gives you identity, gives you meaning, gives you a reason to get up in the morning. It's very spiritual.
And the art in this little time that I've been into it has been a tool of survival, a little light that didn't go out, that we started to take care of and make it brighter.
Why should we let our beautiful things die? Because it's who we are. It's my grandmother said, it's who we are. It's in our things, it's in our blankets, in our robes, in our carvings.
And there are many different kinds of masks, eyes blinking or transforming, or just a mask that's used and quickly taken off to transform back and forth that way. So masks in our culture and all the Northwest Coast culture at one time were used for basically the same thing, to illustrate stories.
A long time ago, the best carvers were the best dancers and singers, because all the motion is it's in these carvings too. It's in these shapes. It's in the forms. It's in the movement. We say that if you don't dance, you don't understand.
My mother made this basket, and she made large baskets.
And the flower design is because of the non-Indians who were in the area were asking for those kinds of designs, because that's what they were doing with their needlework, were roses and other kinds of flowers.
I wanted to use the colors and just very simple concepts that reflect me, and all the colors and the power. In this particular kete or basket, is actually all woven where the inside is visible on the outside, so that when you have completed all the weaving, then you physically turn it inside out, and then you've got a different finish.
Tina Wirahana used flax, a traditional fiber of the Maoris, to create a work symbolizing this conference, or the weaving of people together. Like many artists here, Tina expressed concern over the need to protect the natural environment and the need to respect the work of women artists.
Nowadays, economy being what it is, you see a large and growing number of men basket makers. For me, it's an economical thing. Since I got my leg cut off, I'm not employed, so whatever I subsist on is from the result of what I can create with my hands. I can't chase deer or elk anymore. One of the men that came through with the groups said, "What is that hat for?" And I said, "It's for sale as soon as I get it done."
It's for sale.
I was just joking, really. I didn't know whether to take me serious or not.
You can look at indigenous weaving cultures in the Pacific Rim, and when you visit those areas or you meet the weavers, they can tell you that the basketry is thriving and not only making a comeback, but the weavers are proclaiming themselves as weavers at the international level. One of the stories that the Maori women told us is that a new basket will be put beside an old basket so that they can talk. So it's not just that weavers sit beside one another to learn the art. They say that their products, their gifts, their baskets also need to have this conversation.
Yeah, land is the foundation that we spring from. We come from the land itself, and the Maori word for who we are as a people is tangata whenua. Tangata being the people, whenua is a placenta planted in the ground. So land is very important to us. When I paint a face or a portrait, it's really a landscape. And you'll see from the structure of my work that it's actually a landscape with a face or an energy or history in the land. It's all based on that.
I teach in the art department of the university, so for the longest time, the only art you could learn was Western aesthetics. And anything native was considered crafty, or, it wasn't the higher art. And I think for us, we have allowed outsiders to define who we are and what our art is and what our aesthetic should be. And I think we've come to a place where, as Native people, we make that decision. And we know who we are, and we have to stick to that.
Despite what the tourist images are of Hawaii, the Hawaiian race is a fighting race. It is a warrior race, and that might sound blasphemous coming, in the face of all the imaging of Hawaii, but it's very true. We are as fighting as any part of the Pacific as well. So I try very much to, in my case, to image examples of that spirit to help us to remember what we come from.
I think every day of our lives we're dealing with that assimilation process. When I was a little girl, I was looking for my mother one night and working in a very large micaceous bowl, and she was totally focused in this bowl. A month later, we take the same bowl to a trading post, the non-native buyer, and he looked at it with a very critical eye and sort of pinched it and pinged it and told her that the ping didn't ring true to a certain fire, and so he was critically assessing it. And basically it was so he could determine from his knowledge, even though I doubt he even made pottery, what he was going to pay her wholesale. That feeling of connection and relationship that the people have had for thousands of years is disrupted by that critical assessment for commercial purposes. So of course that's going to change the way we look at the aesthetics and the way we look at the whole creative process.
My tribal people, they went out and gathered huckleberries in baskets made of cedar. I made this pot in the shape of a basket, but I had made a lid because my grandmother showed me when we went out to pick huckleberries to cover our berries with ferns. This helps to keep the berries from falling out. Then I thought of the 5 members that were in the workshop with me, and being with them is it just was a happy happening. So I put 5 triangles on there to represent them.
That piece, the idea for it came from just watching our crew from Gisborne doing the haka. When they were performing, they would do the men and the women would do a posture dance. So the shape came from kapa haka movements.
Well, let's just see what happens.
Oh, this piece is incredible.
I'm so happy it came out.
There we go.
It's not too bad. At the head. And this one is great.
Traditionally, people feel in the Pueblos that if you approach this clay with a good heart, then it responds that way.
There didn't used to be a word for art in our different languages. It derived from our dancing, our singing, you know, our history, and all that came from the spirit world. And no matter where I've gone, including New Zealand, South America, the Peruvians, the Mapuche, the Chileans, their art and all of their paintings, weaving, whatever they do in the art field comes more from our connection to the spirit world.